Okay, I've just stepped into the F-18. I just wanted to quickly show off the LST function for the FLIR pod. I'm just finishing a line in here. Let's put that to IFA. Yeah, I skip in and out of planes so often and switch between them. I get unfamiliar with systems, so I've just been refreshing myself with that one today. And I thought I'd just quickly do a video on it. Now I'm currently on the ASOR 234 hosted TTI mission, and this one puts in randomly generated ground missions, and I've just got one. This is me here at our Minidad to the south of me, and currently this Predator drone is flying overhead and he's going to be lasing targets on the ground for me. So what I want to do is basically show off how to use the spot search in conjunction with a lase on the ground from either a Predator or a JTAC or buddy lasing. Basically, there's a few ways of doing it. If I was using a JTAC, I'd be going through the menu here on the ground, and he'd be give me the 9 line, and I'll be asking him to turn the lase on and all that. But for the Predator drone, it's just going to be automatically lasing. He's on 1688 at the moment, lase code, so I'll quickly get set up on the ground. Currently I've got 4x GBU 12s on the inner pylons and 2 Mav E's on the outer. I figure I'll just show off how to deploy those Mav E's as well for the JTAC and the T-pod underneath, of course. So let's get these weapons squared away. Now if you've got this far and doing spot searches, then you probably already know how to set up your laser guided weapons, but my GBUs, I'll quickly do it. Haven't got any code in there, so I just whack the code button, make sure that's bracketed, and I'm going to put that 1688, which is the default, which is what the Predator is lasing on, and I'm also going to put the fuse on already to instantaneously E-fuse to make sure they blow up. And step across to the next one, and just press enter there. It's auto fills, and that's already auto filled instantaneous. So that's the GPUs squared away. The Mav currently on quadruple 1, so let's go UFC there, bracket the code, and 1688. And that's got my weapons set up. Alright, so down here I've got my FLIR pod. I'm just going to put that to standby for now, and I'll run through the rest when I'm in the air. Everything looks in order, so yeah, I'm going to get in there and I'll come back when I'm approaching the targets.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Alright, we're currently inbound on target. Now, with this TTI map, if I go to sequence here, where's that coming up? There we go. It gives me all the waypoints. Now these are all basically going to be where the missions are spawning, so if I go to probably that one, how close am I now? Yeah, I'm pretty close. So that would be the target waypoint that I'm heading to. So if I wanted to, I could whack my 82s on, air to ground. I've got my radar on. So let's put it back to HSI. I can use the one down there, but it makes it easier to look at. So I've got my air to ground on, my laser guided bombs armed, and I can pretty much now, if I designate that using the WPD SG button, designate that waypoint as a target, take it off autopilot, turn in, and I've got 77 seconds to release. I can bomb over that target right now, which is, it's like just on the corner. Where is it? Somewhere in between all those towns down there. So if I was to run in, drop that bomb, because that's already lasing this Predator drone, that is going to guide onto one of these targets, whichever one it's lasing right now, and I don't even have to use the FLIR pod. But what I want to do is just on auto again, base alt. But just in case I didn't have any waypoints set up, or if someone's buddy lays in, or I just had a waypoint in a general area and those targets are a bit more spread out, so when I run in on the waypoint, the bottom line one target might be a bit too far out to guide in accurately. So I'm going to use the FLIR pod to catch on to whatever lays target he's lasing and get him up on the T-pod or FLIR pod. You'll hear me getting confused between the two, using the other plane so much, but yeah, I'm going to bring him up and then I'm just going to designate that point on the ground, so my bottom line that I'm running on is that same point. Now to do that, I'm going to whack this FLIR pod on. It's been on standby. I'm going to go to the FLIR pod up here. Now I've already got the waypoint designated, so it's actually pointing this little diamond behind me because that's where the target was. Actually, I'm going to leave it for now. I'm just going to leave it on so I've got an idea where the running is. And okay, the codes is what I'm going to do. Sorry about that. So I've got two codes. One for me over here on the right side. This is my lays in for the T-pod. So if I was to put my laser on down there, it's going to laze that point off that one. That's that code. This code here is the one I'm searching. Currently 1688, which is the actual laser code that I want. But just say I want to change that, just go to UFC LSTC laser spot track code and change that to 1684, say, and that's going to change that. So whatever buddy or JTAC's lasing, you can just switch it like that. But for our purposes, it's going to be the default 1688. Now that's coming around, how far out is it? 70 degrees. So when I come around to this point here, which is, where's that little racetrack looking thing? I think it was somewhere out here, so I'm actually going to undesignate that as a target waypoint. That's going to go into snowplow mode, which puts it scanning about here. I can also do ASOR, which goes off the velocity vector to that point. I'm just going to leave it in snowplow. And I'm going to line up on that, and when I do, I'm going to box this LST function. Let's take it off autopilot. And that is going to scan this HUD for that Predator's lays and lock onto it. There she is. So now I've got that up. If I've got this that as soy, to get that I'll make sure I press sensor control switch right. I can zoom in on there. There's my Pacific target. If I lock onto it, well, not lock on it, basically make that my SPI, my designated point of interest. I've got here 7 seconds to release, and that bomb queue is actually over the actual target. And pickle, and that's going to laze off the, let's just put our autopilot on. And that's going to laze off the Predator drone on 1688, and that looks like it's guiding. And like I said, if I just dropped with the on the waypoint, it still would have had the same effect because all these targets look close together. And he's about to have a bad day. And that's automatically switched to the next target, and boom. So let's just run through one more. So that is now designated to that last point, so I'm just going to undesignate that by pressing the undesignate button a couple of times, and that's put it back to why didn't it go to snowplow mode? That's interesting. Interesting. much still got that point not designated. Anyway, continuing on. That should be back in snowplow mode right now. How about we... because it's still pointing that way. How about we just put it back to standby for a sec? Back it on again. And put it back there. Yeah, usually when I undesignate it, using that button, it puts it back to snowplow mode. So I'll work on that. But alright, so coming back around, let's do the same thing. It's now lasing a new target over here. So let's take it off autopilot. Got my next bomb set up. Yeah, I'm getting a bit low here, but that's okay. Let's switch it to LST track mode. Line her up. I'm not sure what range it is. I'm a bit further out now, so let's see if it picks it up. There it is. Zoom in. Go to narrow field of view, and looks like just a truck. Bit of overkill, but that's okay. And I'm just going to designate that point. And that puts my bomb line up there, which puts me onto a more accurate. Let's just go wide field of view, and yeah, 40 seconds to release. So pretty nifty. So if someone was buddy lasing down there off another aircraft, I can also do that, whether it's an A-10 or something. And 21 seconds, and then I'll do a run with the Mavs. Let's just zoom out a bit. I'm a bit out of trim because I've lost a bomb. There is bomb line and the Q, hold it down and pickle. 24 seconds to impact. Let's just keep it in the TGP this time. You can see that time to impact 17 seconds. Let's just break off right here. Autopilot. And that's going to laze onto him. 2, 1. Pause for effect. Kaboom. Alright, so let's switch over to the Mavs now. So undesignate those, put the Mavs on. And I'm actually going to turn this FLIR pod off now. Just stand by, I don't need that at all. Nah, it doesn't matter what I really put up here. Let's put the ground radar up for funsies. So at the moment I've got this Mav on 1688 in its cage right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to my sensor of interest by sensor control switch to the left. That automatically uncages it, which just puts it in this slew mode. I actually just cage it straight away using the uncage button, and that will just center it in the HUD, so when if I know where in the general idea where it is, then it's just going to be quicker to lock on. So let's go autopilot off. So I got to this screen by pressing the Mav twice. Mav once, Mav twice. That's uncaged. Just cage it and come around. Where was she? Yeah, around there. Alright, so that's my last designated point there, and that's not where I'm going to be aiming. I'm going to be aiming off the lase, so I'm going to uncage, and that's going to actually lase the next target, which is above there. And you can see that's now boxed with a lase, and I've got Mav lock, so I can actually fly that, and that's not going to where that last designated point is, it's just going to fire on that one. So, rifle. Yeah, I've got the FLIR off. I could have had the FLIR on and seen this go in, but I just wanted to show I'm not using any of that. Just the JTAC lays in down there. And we should get a shack any time. Pause for effect. There she is. So that's the Mav. So I wasn't using the T-pod at all, that was just going off the laser for off the Predator zone drone. So that's gone to the next one, so let's do a nice quick and dirty release. That's caged again now, so I just turn around. It's already switched to my next Mav. Run in. Uncage it. It's locked on. Rifle and off. So the Mavs, when you go to JTAC, are very, very simple. Let's go on for that one. Is it on the... There it is. Shack again. So yeah, that is the... just switch that on actually, because I just want to mention this LST function. This used to be LSS. It's currently caged at the moment, but doesn't matter. This, yeah, this used to be LSS. So when I last used it, basically, because I'm in and out of this plane a lot, that used to say LSS. So it was a bit confusing for me today, but yeah, LST it is now. And that is the spot search. That is JTAC in, and like I said, if you're using the other JTAC, not the other one, the Predator, you'd be up here in the menu talking to the 9 line and all that. Alright, I hope that was useful, and I will leave it there.